Coming up on Look Today, well, Election Day was yesterday and the results are in. I've got details. Plus, HVCC's TEC-SMART held its first exhibition today in Malta. More on that coming up. And Salvation Army, they're seeking bell ringers to raise money. I got those details all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. Well, in tonight's program I sit down with John Auntie Miller. He's a composer and he's here to talk about his upcoming concert that's happening this weekend at the Strand Theater in Hudson Falls. Great interview. Talk about great interviews. I also sit down with Sarah Craig. She's executive director of Cafe Lena, and we're joined by Sonny Bonaccio. He's owner of Bonaccio Construction, and they're here to talk about their collaboration and the upgrades made to the cafe, which meant that they saved Cafe Lena. This is part one of my interview with them. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, unless you were living under a rock someplace, elections were yesterday, and most of the results are in. And I'll tell you why I said most in a second. Democrats saw a number of victories, pretty much across the Tri-North counties. For example, Meg Kelly won the mayoral race in Saratoga Springs. John Stroud won re-election as supervisor in Queensbury. In Queensbury Town, the board also gained 2 new Democrat members for Ward 2 and Ward 4. Now in the Unity Party ticket, Dan Hall won mayoral race in Glens Falls. Interesting changes. Now, a proposal to change the Saratoga Springs form of government is still too close to call. And when I say that, check this out. Those who supported change led with 4,202 votes against 4,154 that opposed. Do the math real quick, and you'll find out that that's only a difference of 48 votes. That's incredible. However, there are still 560 absentee ballots left to count. Well, we jumped all over this today. So we spoke to Richard Sellers from Success about what this means.
Well, people who were unable to get to the polls, whether for health reasons or being out of the area, request an absentee ballot, and they are processed. They have to be delivered, I believe, the day of the election. Not positive about that, and they're counted about a week later. The total, their numbers are put in the totals, whether or not it's absentee or that day doesn't matter.
And we also spoke to Bob Turner. He's chair of the Charter Review Commission about their lead and how he's feeling optimistic.
I think when you're up by 48 votes, one is never confident, but the election professionals that we've spoken to said that traditionally the absentee ballots follow the election returns, so we are cautiously and very guardedly optimistic.
Wow, that's democracy at its best, and you can count on us. We'll be on this every single day until that's resolved. And we also have interviews coming up with some of the other winning candidates. In other news, well, HVCC's TEC-SMART held its first exhibition today in Malta. Students from the 9th to 12th grade showcased their business ideas, water quality solutions, and bioenergy projects. Now, these bright young future leaders pitched their ideas to their mentors, civic leaders, business experts, and other community members. Well, we were at the event today like we've been many, many times, and we spoke to a student, Tristan Turner, about his capstone project.
So this is the capstone project. We're going to be working on this all year long. So this is just like the marketing portion. So after this is actually like prototyping and actually like having something to hold on to. Right now it's just ideas, and we're pitching them to people here at the expo so that they can give some feedback and tell us how to go forward.
Now we also spoke to Renee Bannigan about her project.
So our project, the problem here is that scuba divers are getting lost underwater when visibility becomes very low. There isn't an easy way to get back to their surfacing line or the boat, so we came up with the beacon. The beacon is a 2-part system. We have the base beacon that you attach to the surfacing line, and then the receiver that goes on your wrist. And it basically just tells you the direction that the beacon is in and how far away you are from it.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are the future. Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw some warmer temperatures. We did see some sun. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser with your first look weather update here on Look TV. Let's take a look at the national map for tonight. We have this low pressure over central Florida, bringing this cold front that went through the Gulf Coast states. That same front has made its way also through the Atlantic coast. That means high pressure is building in from the west, but there's a secondary cold front boundary trying to make its way through the northern plains and into southeast Canada. That's going to bring a high pressure system all the way from Canada. It's going to bring more Arctic blasts into portions of the northeast, and it's already evident this evening. 17 Burlington, 18 Albany, 28 in Boston. So as we look across the area, upper teens to around 20 are going to be expected across the central capital district. Whitehall 20 degrees, 17 Fort Edward. Towards Glens Falls, overnight low of 18 degrees. And up towards elevation, Johnsbury and Pottersville, a chilly mid-teens can be expected, so bundle up despite skies are going to be clear with that gentle southwest breeze. We'll see mostly sunny skies, a big warm-up back to the mid to upper 40s for your Thursday. Out the door will still be chilly, lower to mid-20s and upper 20s by the time we get through the 8 a.m. hour. Mostly sunny skies. Prepare for wind chills in the mid-20s. Extended forecast, we'll see that second front making its way through by the time we get to Friday. 31 the afternoon high, morning low 27, but then just 11 degrees when we wake up Saturday morning. Mid-30s for highs. At least the sun will be out, but we have more chilly times for your Saturday night and Sunday. 18 the overnight low in Glens Falls, back about 40, mostly cloudy in advance of our next weather system. At least we'll be back in the mid-40s next Monday. That was a look at your first look weather update here on Look TV. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponsler. Now I'll send it back to you, Jesse.
Yes, that was 11 degrees Saturday night. Unreal. Back to the news. Well, Salvation Army, Greater Glens Falls, is looking for bell ringers for their Red Kettle donation campaign. Now, the money last year helped over 850 families in the Tri-North counties. Now, over 20,000 meals were distributed. Now, this year, they need money. They're desperately looking for volunteers and are hoping that maybe we have another mild winter. To catch up on all of this, we spoke to Major David Dean.
Well, I think, we call it the Community Red Kettle Drive because if people don't volunteer, we don't get any kettles out at all. All my people in Warren, Washington, and Upper Saratoga are volunteers. We pay no one. All right, so if people don't volunteer, they basically stay locked up in my closet all year, and we don't have that money to help people. And again, it's not just at Christmas time and Thanksgiving. It helps people out the other 12 months of the year as well.
Boy, please volunteer if you can. Up next, I sit down with John Miller. He's a composer. He's here to talk about his upcoming concert. It's happening this weekend at the Strand Theater in Hudson Falls with a very special look out tonight. Plus, I also sit down with Sarah Craig. She's executive director at Cafe Lena in Saratoga. And we're joined by Sonny Bonaccio. He's owner of Bonaccio Construction. And they're here to talk about this very unique collaboration and the upgrades made to the cafe. This is part one of my interview with them. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. A couple of lookouts for tonight. First, just a couple of comments about the election. Very interesting how our democracy worked here in the Tri-North counties. Real nice check and balance was put into the system if you followed some of these races. Again, many qualified candidates, regardless of what party they were running for. Really came down to preference, I think, in the credibility of the person. But overall, there was a nice, like I said, a check and balance that was kind of put in place. One exception was Wilton. What's going on in Wilton? These people are stuck in the mud. Okay. Also, a comment, Sonny Bonaccio and Sarah Craig. I just loved that interview. When you think about a major developer like Bonaccio and a wonderful, beautiful, historic cafe like Cafe Lena and how they work together to make certain that it was to benefit of the community, everything they did on that whole corner there. I just loved it. And as I promised, that interview with John Miller about his concert this weekend, he very graciously showed up with his cello. So we're going to take the program out tonight with just a little bit of John Miller playing his cello. See you tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.